When time first began, the Eternal gave life to powerful beings of light, the Drakiels. But as misfortune would have it, the power given to these creatures awoke in them only a boundless pride and an inexhaustible thirst for dominion. Shaken by this betrayal, the Eternal banished them to the deepest abyss of Dracomundus. It was there, in the depths of the earth, that they twisted into the monstrosities that we know today as dragons. Alas, possessed more than ever by hate and vanity, the Banished refused to admit themselves defeated. Through their voices, they persisted in corrupting humanity. Through their blood, they defiled the land we call our home. From that moment on, mankind would live in fear. Fear that one of the Dragon Lords, the most powerful of the Banished, would one day return to the surface. With the support of his Dragonkin, Saw Ichnog succeeded in escaping from his subterranean prison. And brave souls, guided by the light, rose up and vowed to push him back. Soldiers of the Order, righteous and faithful to the Eternal, who suffered body and soul after coming into contact with draconic corruption. Rare were those who remained impervious to the depraved whispers of the dragons on the outskirts of this gaping breach. One such person was Godefroy of Clerval, Grand Knight of the Order of the Eternal. The voice of the Dragon Lord blighted people's spirits and petrified their bodies, instilling terror and madness into those who heard it. Never before had a breach so vast been rent between the two worlds. It was here, at this wound between worlds, that the corruption was most potent. One by one, haunted by the whispers from below, the people succumbed to madness. Draconic blood sullied the earth and corrupted the creatures that trod upon it. Pitiful in their wretchedness, and too weak to resist the command of their new masters, they drank the blood of the dragon and gave in to depravity. Thus enslaved, they were twisted into ghastly monsters, mockeries, Dragonkin. Men, women, children, animals, for as many slaves as there were devoted to their cruel masters, just as many grotesque monsters blindly obeyed any order given to them by their Dragon Lord. Only the most righteous of souls, guided and supported by the Eternal, were able to resist the corrupting call that led the living to damnation. These righteous few bore the feeble flame of man through the darkest shadow, and though it flickered, it would not be extinguished. Filled with these fleeting embers of hope, a few brave souls founded an alliance to carve the first breach into draconic defenses. Here, the Dragonkin's power was strong. It fused our world with that of the Banished. Godefroy of Clairval heroically broke through and shattered their defense barriers. This act of bravery, a feat of the righteous alliance of men, allowed me to lend aid to the Knights of the Order of the Eternal. Me, Almantir, Grand Oracle of Pythodurcan, Dragon Blood, a human altered but not consumed by the draconic blood that flows through my veins. My sisters and I have powers given to us by the dragon, but our souls remain our own. Neither dragonkin nor entirely human, and afforded extraordinary abilities by our forebearers. By those who drank the blood of the only banished dragon to have ever repented before the Eternal. These few drops of draconic blood connected our thoughts to those of the dragons. Struck by fleeting visions, we sought glimpses into their deeds and understanding of the feelings that drove them. understanding came a vulnerability. We soon learned that we were at the mercy of their whispers. The voices threatened to consume us, with no hope of salvation. But the formidable link that connected us to the dragons had also awakened something within us. We lived strong in the certainty that the Eternal had pardoned us for the draconic corruption in our veins. Our civilization fell alongside the blue dragon Dragonkin, forcing us to live amongst men in the city of the Order of the Eternal. Closer to the breach made by Sir Iknog, Godefroy, fighting fire with fire, confronted the draconic hordes. I battled by his side, but my strategy was less direct. My draconic power allowed me to open up a passageway for the men of Nurogard, all of them prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice to save what remained of humanity. Once this invisible barrier had been breached, they knew that their lives would hang by mere threads. But these warriors from the north cared little for the uncertainties of our plan. A hero's death in the heat of battle with their enemy was the greatest honor that could befall them. Led by the pale dragon blood Harald Truelson, the barbarian fleet had but one objective: to lure the enemy into the open sea and leave the path to the breach vulnerable. If a single vessel reached the coast, then this sacrifice would not have been for naught. Harald Truelson reached the hostile shore and avenged those fallen from the Tauriel clan. barbarians of Nuragard feared neither pain nor death, and they welcomed violence as they might an old and familiar friend. Chulson knew this friend better than most. His existence thus far had been one of suffering, of hardening his resolve, and of preparing to endure the worst of torments, without losing the one thing of value every warrior of his clan held dear: his soul. While the Knights of the Order of the Eternal had always been forbidden from making use of dragon's blood, the warriors from the north, staying true to their values, had taken this risk. A select few, highly trained clansmen, risking their lives in the process, had successfully imbibed the pale dragon's blood without succumbing to the corrupting voices. Among them was Chulson. To become a dragon blood barbarian, he paid the ultimate price and cast away a portion of his humanity. In exchange, he received draconic powers that he put to use for the Tauriel clan, the Eternal, and humanity at large. And even if all others, from Monteskai to Nuragard, recognized the courage and sacrifice of these brave warriors, there was not one that did not also regard them with sincere disgust. While there could be no doubt of their loyalty to Tauriel, defender of the Eternal, their bodies, defiled by the dragon as they were, drove the rest of mankind to reject them. Chulson, for his part, cared little for his appearance. What did this matter after all, as long as his soul remained intact? The pale dragon blood had achieved his goal. The Alliance's plan, as unlikely as it was to succeed, could run its course. The barbarian waited for the signal that would tell him where to carve a bloody path through enemy defenses and lure the dragons far away from the breach. The Kongirati nomads, every bit as proud and as fearless as the warriors from the north, joined the alliance of men to help push back Sor Iknog, the Crimson Dragon. Sitting astride their draconic hybrids, these tracker archers faced the dragons steadfastly and seemingly without fear. Not one would allow the enemy to make easy prey of them. Hides, wings, teeth, blood. For the Kongirati, each draconic monstrosity was not only a threat, but also a quarry from which they could gain valuable resources. And where others had begged and prayed for divine salvation, these nomads made full use of anything the earth and providence offered them in order to survive. Their master tracker Eula, however, did not see things in such stark shades of black and white. Of all those who made up their number, she was the first to recognize the value of this eternal light. She rejected neither the ancestral traditions nor the tracking of the Dragonkin, who had made it possible for the Kongarat to excel in the arts of potions, alchemy, poisons, and draconic hybridization. How long would her people be able to continue traveling freely if the corruption were to poison the entire world? It was for this reason that she joined the Alliance of Men. To seal this union, the Order of the Eternal entrusted her with one of their most powerful relics, a single, glimmering scale of light. If the legends are to be believed, this scale had been pried from the hide of one of the Drakeels in the heat of battle, back when these beings of light had pushed back the banished dragon lords that ventured too close to the surface. Each champion had one, and the power of their light would be needed to push Sor Iknog back into the shadows. It was up to Eula, armed with her scale of light, to cast the invocation. She would then know whether she had been right to put her trust in the Order and in joining the Alliance. The power of the light was like nothing ever seen before. We heard the Dragon Lord howl into our minds, racked with pain and rage. So close to the Dracomundus, our souls suffered as from 1,000 deaths, but we held fast to our positions. Inch by inch, the divine light pushed the corruption back into the breach. And it was thus that the Banished Lord saw Ichnog disappeared once more into the shadows, where he would suffer eternal retribution. Once calm fell, we were all that was left, the sole witnesses to the feat accomplished by the Alliance of Men. But more than ever, we knew that the taint of draconic depravity still festered in the depths of the abyss, impatient to break free once more. Thus, from the union of men and their allies that stood together in the face of the draconic threat, an elite corps was established within the Order of the Eternal, the Dragon Hunters. Who knows? Perhaps the heroes that the Alliance of Men has been waiting for will be found among this unit's latest recruits.
Finally, the trail picks up here, and the tracks are still fresh. We must be close.
They must think us far behind. As if they could think we'd let them go after they killed one of our own.
We'll avenge your brother, Yorn. Have no fear about that. Apprentice, stay close to us and watch your back. Don't let any Dragonkin get the drop on you.
There they are. Nicely done, Sultan.
They seem to have gathered here.
So that's why my brother was unable to get away. He was ambushed.
The Dragonkin in the plains are not usually so organized. They're congregating, plotting ambushes, laying traps. Something must surely have changed.
Then it's up to us to find out what that is.
a Dragonkin idol, and the ground, it's soaked in dragon's blood. Astria, what could this mean?
It's a place of worship.
Take cover! Dragonkin! They've come to defend their sanctuary! Is anyone hurt? Sonkan? Apprentice?
We're fine. Somehow.
The way the corrupted reacted to our presence proves it. Whatever we discovered is deathly important.
We've discovered a new kind of Dragonkin. Foul. Toxic. With amphibian mutations. It's like no enemy we've ever encountered before. Astria, you're the expert in draconic rites. Do you have any idea where they could have come from?
All signs point to a ritual of corruption. And from the sheer amount of blood spilled here, we can assume they have enslaved a host of victims.
Wait a moment. Their poison seems similar, like mine. The statue is crafted from black willow. It must be from the Jaxara's swamp. My clan's caravans used to stop for supplies there, before passing through your lands.
So far from here. Could the Dragonkin have carried this idol all the way across the plains?
There would have to be countless adepts among their number if so. We must warn the Council of Montesky without delay.
Would the Dragonkin really have crossed the plains solely to abduct followers? Are you certain, Sonkin? Was it really Black Willow Wood?
I am a Kongarati tracker. I would never mistake a plant. This statue is from Jaxara. There's no doubt in my mind.
If you're right, every soul in Jaxara may already be twisted into their service. Let us only hope they are not planning to launch an assault on Montesky.
Over here. Let's follow the path back to Montesky. There's not a moment to lose.
We need to convince the Council to send us on a mission to Jaxara. If we allow this cult to spread even further outside our walls, the citizens will starve.
Given the scale of this invasion, it should not be difficult to win the Councilors over. They'll surely decide to attack in force.
Perhaps it would be best to learn more about our enemy before rushing in. If we are to root out a cult of this size, we need to avoid making any hasty decisions.
There would be one way to learn more about these creatures. A reconnaissance mission. If we send a small group, they may go unnoticed. A few skilled soldiers need only enter their lands and target their sanctuaries and camps. Then we'll see how they respond.
Wait a moment. You're suggesting we all take part in this operation?
Of course. I'm not going to be risking my skin on my own.
These Dragonkin have already killed one of our group. It would be madness for all 5 of us to offer our necks to their blades. Only 4 of us are fit to breach enemy lands. 5 if you include the apprentice. Let's not take the risk of us all throwing ourselves into the lion's den.
And what exactly are you suggesting, Song Khan? Facing this cult down with a party of 2 to 1,000?
Whether we're 2 or 5, we have no chance of eliminating all the corrupted. But their orders are delivered by a leader. If we were to cut off the serpent's head, so to speak, let's work with a group of 2. Make use of the element of surprise and rid ourselves of them before reinforcements arrive.
I wonder whether I wouldn't prefer a good old-fashioned melee instead.
So be it. The apprentice will accompany Son Khan while we protect the borderlands around the Alliance. The apprentice will gain a bit of experience in the company of a tracker. All that leaves is the accolade, and to make her a dragon hunter officially.
Why worry about the formalities, Alaric? Just give her the scale of light already. Let's not hang about on ceremony.
These pledges may mean nothing to you, Nomad, but may I remind you that we are in Montesky, capital of the Order of the Eternal, and it is this order that, if I may say so, leads the Alliance, welcomed you into the city, and protects the scales of light. We have made enough compromises as it is.
So, your custom should be respected, to the detriment of our own?
Be reasonable, Tracker. Need I remind you that your caravans would no longer exist had we not closed the last gates of the Eternal? If we had truly wanted to be rid of your traditions, it would have happened long ago. You were able to profit through trade after taking neither side during the war that turned so many men against one another. Now that we are allies, why persist with this way of life when you could simply travel by gate? Sooner or later, Tracker, your people will need to change their ways.
And who are you to dictate how our ways should change?
That's enough, both of you. The war of men is ended. Do not forget, the dragons are the true enemy here.
The Dragonkin number more than ever, and they are rapidly...
Please forgive this intrusion, councillors. Alas, Grand Tracker, I fear I do not bring the news you are hoping for.
Speak, Hunter.
As you ordered, we found the Dragonkin that killed one of our own. In doing so, we discovered an ascendant cult, one which swells in number.
They are practicing corruption rituals in the plains around Monteskai. According to Sun Can, the idols they are using are from Jaxara, and the ground there was drenched in dragon's blood. I fear that their intentions have been made all too clear.
They have come to desecrate the plains? This close to Monteskai? How have they been able to escape our notice for so long? We will need to act before they are able to launch an assault.
With your permission, Counselor, allow me to conduct a reconnaissance mission into enemy territory together with the apprentice. I know these lands well, since the Kongirat used to trade here.
2 hunters against an army of adepts? You cannot be serious.
The Dragonkin have flooded the plains, de Clerval, and redoubled their assaults against my clan. This hunter strategy would allow us to combat them on several fronts.
This is so. Allow Sun Can and the apprentice to gather information at least. I will oversee them, and if there is need for it, we will call them back. I suggest we put our trust in our hunters, Auspex.
And what of the apprentice?
She is ready, Auspex.
Then your plan will have my support. High Priest Cornelis, proceed with the accolade.
Kneel, apprentice. Today, before the Eternal, you commit to our fight against the dragons until they draw their last breath, to hunting those who serve them, to sealing the breaches to their vile prison of Dracomundus forevermore, to ridding humanity of their corruption. As a token of your sacrifice, please take this scale of light. It is a relic of Miriel, the Drakiel who, long ago, managed to banish these ungodly creatures together with the Eternal. It will protect you from the corrupting influence of their voices. Today, it will make you a protector of humanity, a blade of the Eternal, a hunter of dragons. Arise, hunter. Non Draco sit mihi dukes. Let not the dragon guide me.
Come and find me at the jail before leaving Monteskai. Since Sun Can and yourself will be on your own in the Jaxara swamp, we are prepared to offer you our support.
The Grand Tracker and I have pooled the Order's resources and Kongirat's expertise to give you a decisive advantage. To meet the dragon's strength with our own, we have raised the first tame wormling.
And we have taught it how to fight alongside hunters. It will make for a fearsome ally.
Grand Tracker, be reasonable. Nobody has ever been able to tame a dragon. This creature is dangerous.
You are right, to a point. Raising it was not enough. To control these beasts of draconic perversion, we needed to purify and subject them to the power of the light. We used blessed seals to do just that. It is not their chains that keep them subjugated, Tracker, but rather our faith in the Eternal.
This wormling will accompany the new hunter. Your first mission promises to be a challenging one, and I am in no hurry to be called for a new accolade anytime soon. Innovation is one of the core values of our clan, Sun Can. I wager your opinion will change once you've seen this creature at work.
With all respect, Grand Tracker, I highly doubt it.
Follow me.
I'll be waiting for you here.
This wormling will add its power to your attacks. Now, Hunter, let us rid ourselves of the cult that is poisoning the Jaxara swamp.
Keep an eye on your wormling. I don't like to see the Order getting involved in the clan's research. I often adventured in the Jaxara swamp, and I believe I know a village there where we can begin our search. Keep your scale close. The dragon's whispers are louder here, in Dragonkin territory. We must remain vigilant. This part of the plains has not been cleared. No doubt it will be infested with Dragonkin. Damn it. We'll have to fight our way through here. Marauders have taken the village.
The farm to the east is being attacked. I beg of you.
Looters?
Yes, but they're not alone. They have monstrous creatures with them.
Dragonkin. They likely corrupted the Marauders, catching them unawares while they were looting abandoned settlements.
We were helping the priest restore the old stone gateway near the farm when they appeared out of nowhere.
We'll head over there and help him. Now flee. Head for Monteskai. Hells. I recognize this cursed priest. It's Jerome, Cornelis' right-hand man, and the only civilian to possess a scale of light. Yorn's brother was killed while protecting this undeserving underling. We always found him holed up in the most sinister of places, studying Dragonkin spells for the Meridius.
To me, hunters! These villains have brought the Dragonkin upon us.
Hell, Jerome, where's the rest of your escort?
I gave them the order to evacuate the villagers while I did what I could to buy them some time.
You mad fool. Think yourself a dragon hunter now, do you? In the Eternal's name, keep your distance.
Thank you for helping me out of that tight spot, hunters.
What are you doing here, Jerome? Restoring a gate, or so say the villagers? Don't tell me it's a gate of the Eternal.
Well, in truth, follow me and you'll understand.
So, will you tell us what's going on?
The Dragonkin cast some manner of spell upon this gate. Nobody knows precisely what they intended to do, but Meridius Cornelis is afraid they may yet put it to twisted purpose. The gates of the Eternal are connected to one another by the Great Light Lapse, which the Order once used itself back during the time of the War of Men. They were sealed when the Kongarati trackers joined the Alliance.
We need to break this spell.
Indeed. And to do so, we need to reopen this gate and reconnect it to the city using a scale of light. That's why I was dispatched here.
I don't believe a word. The Council could never have approved this decision. Grand Tracker Eula would have opposed it.
And yet I truly did receive such orders, Tracker. We cannot leave the gate at the mercy of our enemies. To rid ourselves of this spell, we will need to channel divine energy to re-establish its connection. Then, the Dragonkin will no longer be able to approach it.
I don't like this. The decision would have come from the Council. I suggest we look for another solution.
The Dragonkin have likely already corrupted other gates, hunters. Time is not on our side. I will explain our present situation to the Council personally. For now, it should be enough to use your scale of light to break the spell. This gate should then immediately link up with its twin in Monteskai. How magnificent! I will return to Monteskai and inform the Council. If you discover any other corrupted gates, do not allow the Dragonkin to get close to them. Good hunting, both of you, and may the dragon never tempt you.
Well, Alaric, have we made enough compromises now? Let us set off again. We have a cult and its adepts to dispose of. we've crossed the frontier. If we were to remove our scale of light now, we risk falling prey to the dragon's whispers and the corruption that their words sow, and not even a single sign of combat. The people living here must have abandoned their homes, or worse. We're definitely heading in the right direction.
Over here! You're dragon hunters, aren't you? By the Eternal, please, spare me. I'm human still.
You've drunk dragon's blood.
I don't know. It's been weeks since Dragonkin corrupted our water. Some of us have surrendered to it already. I hear their voices. Those of the Dragonkin. That of the dragon. Oh, they're in my head. Save me. Please, make them stop. I beg of you.
You can hear not only the voice of dragons, but also those of Dragonkin?
I hear them all, I tell you. The adepts and the hostages they took from Banished. They'll never be silenced. Never. Always the same words again and again. And the prisoners. Oh, the prisoners. And their constant attempts to break their spirits, to corrupt them, just like us. Like us.
You claim to always hear the voices of the Dragonkin. Have you overheard where they're keeping their hostages?
I hear them, but I refuse to listen. I don't want to lose my mind.
I'm afraid it's too late. There is dragon's blood running through your veins. You're lost already. But even so, you can help the others to escape your fate.
Am I going to die?
I will stay by your side. I will help you. As for the rest, don't forget those people that are dear to you.
You're right. I want to give them a chance.
We still know almost nothing about these Dragonkin. Where have they come from? What powers does their blood impart? Whose orders are they following? I'll watch over this poor soul and try to find out where the hostages are being held. As for you, see if you can gather a node, an egg, some corrupted flesh, anything the Grand Tracker may be able to study. We know little of the effects of Viridian Dragon's blood, and these corrupted appear to have gorged themselves on it. I'm happy to see that you came out the other side alive. Give me the flesh sample. I will take it to the Grand Tracker once she is finished with Meridius Cornelis. Follow me.
I never doubted your common sense, Grand Tracker.
We have returned, Grand Tracker.
Did you complete your mission?
We identified the location of the Adepts. These Dragonkin are capable of communicating through thought, like bees from the same hive. We took care to take a few samples before heading further into the swamp.
You've shown excellent initiative, hunters. This may well allow us to learn more about these monsters and their powers of corruption.
I'm afraid we don't have much time. A villager told us the Dragonkin have taken hostages, and he showed us where they're being held at this very moment. We must act without delay.
How were they able to tell you this?
The Dragonkin had corrupted the swamp water. The poor soul had dragon's blood already flowing through his veins. That was how we discovered the mental connection between the corrupted.
Grand Tracker, if the Dragonkin were behind the disappearances you told me about, the men you dispatched to the plains are heading straight into danger. Worse yet if the enemy can organize from a distance.
You are not wrong, High Priest. Sun Can, return to Jaxara at once. I'm tasking you with finding and freeing the hostages. Keep a low profile, do not take any unnecessary risks, and try your best to bring them back alive. As for you, set off and see if you can find my trackers. If they are still alive, you will find them in the plains close to the hamlet of Pont Noir. Once you're done, return to the Jaxara swamp so you can assist Sun Can.
Show me your map, and I'll show you where to find us.